Most men think that the issue is women, but the truth is like you have been disconnected from yourself. You show up in ways that look good, confident, capable, in control, but underneath something feels off. And so you're not clear, you're not grounded, and a woman can feel that instantly, even if they don't know how to name it. And sometimes they don't even say it because they're probably too afraid of saying it. They don't want to break your heart. And so attraction doesn't start with what you say, it starts with how you feel about yourself when you walk into the room. There was a time in my life where I looked like I had it all together, but behind the scenes, I was unraveling and it was a hot mess. I was attracting the wrong relationships, overthinking every text, super anxious, and trying to be enough for partners who weren't even right for me. And so it wasn't because something was wrong with me, it was just because I didn't know who I really was anymore. When I was younger, I was living out of my ego self. Everything was about me. And even if it wasn't about me and something wasn't working out the way that I wanted, or maybe I attracted a toxic person in my life, I would make it about them. It's their fault. And I would take no accountability, no self awareness, no self regulation. And so what I did was I kept on repeating this pattern because nobody said, wake up, get up. Nobody told me that. And so that is why I want to be that person, that guide. And when you're unclear on who you are and what you want, you then are going to attract people into your life that are going to dictate how you are going to show up, and you're no longer going to be authentic. And the quickest way towards suffering in life is to be somebody that you're not. Who was it that I recently heard? Alex Hermosi. He said that when he was, I know this is totally sidetracked, but when he was working for his father, or I believe he was getting into the job that his father wanted out of him. And he said, every day I wanted to, I didn't want to live. I didn't want to wake up anymore. And that is literally the best example for you. When you're doing something, when you're on a path that is not aligned with your soul, that is never, ever going to bring you happiness and joy. And yes, you can please your parents or please your girlfriend, whoever it is, but that is only going to lead you to even more suffering and more dark night of the souls, because I definitely have been through that. And the only way to kind of wake up to that is to become aware. First things first, you can't attract clarity while you're living in confusion. So what that really means is that when you do not know thyself, you don't really know who you are, you're not centered, and so you're continuously rushing through life, going from this job and then this meeting and then this event and then this party and then going on this date, and you're just doing, and you don't have any sense of who you really are without all of these things, without the job, without the girlfriend, without the success, your huge title, the CEO of a company. Without all of these things, who are you really? That is what I want you to understand of yourself. And I think when you are incapable of understanding that, without all of these things, that is when you also kind of get to know that you have based your identity based on these extrinsic values, not intrinsic values. The reason why basing your entire identity on your extrinsic values is not a good idea is because that is the quickest road to suffering, loneliness, and anxiousness and uncertainty, because you're basically creating your foundation, you're creating your home on sand. It's not on a rock. If you're really building a foundation internally and you have your intrinsic values, that means that when there is a storm, and trust me, it's going to come. It comes to all of us. We all go through suffering in life. We all go through pain in life. And again, it is not really to causes pain, it is really there to raise our consciousness. But when we only look at our house and the money that we make and the success that we make, and we leave behind our values, our morals, our integrity as a man, as a human being, that is when you will always feel like something is missing in your life, something is feeling off. And most importantly, if you really want to have a healthy relationship, you want a woman as well who's not going to base her love on how much money that you make, how much, how you're able to support her financially. There's no talk about supporting her physically or supporting her mentally, emotionally. Those things will be lacking if you're somebody who is an emotionally unavailable man. You most probably are also going to attract an emotionally unavailable woman. Or another thing that could also happen is that you could attract a woman who is super emotionally available, or she wants to work on it, and she might start resenting you for being emotionally unavailable, and that would basically create tension in that relationship. You're going to resent her, she's going to resent you, and it's just going to end up in either toxic atmosphere or a divorce or a breakup. Secondly, you can't perform your way through dating, because when you do that, that is when you will be getting resentful. And I see this happen over and over and over again with men. And unfortunately, can't really even blame men, because they have been programmed this way. They have been conditioned to perform, to be charismatic in all these movies and Disney or whatever it is. And so it is part of kind of what you have been taught as a child, or don't cry and don't show emotion. And so you've always kind of suppressed that part of you, which is so real and which is so authentic. And that sucks. But I really want you to understand that that is now, when you know that that is no longer going to take you to the next level in your life, it is not going to be able to help you to attract the love of your life. And when you're basing your behaviors out of a performance, out of an act, out of proving yourself, instead of just being who you really are, who you came here to be. If you're looking for an honest woman, somebody who's your ride or die, somebody who is connected to herself, and when she's connected to herself, that means all parts of her are going to enable you to be the best version of yourself. But if she is disconnected from herself, if she is working, she's burnt out, or she maybe is lying, there's places where she's lying a little bit, then she is not going to be available to your needs. And I know that as a man, that is pretty much a deal breaker. You don't want a woman who is incapable of meeting your needs and being able to communicate with you. Instead, she shuts down, she avoids conversations, she's a bit disrespectful or dismissive. And I know that most men don't want to be with a woman like that. I mean, unless that is kind of your conditioning as a child and you've had some wounding based on that. And so you tend to attract and be okay with that behavior. But most men don't want a woman who is closed off. They do want a woman who is a little bit more open, who is able to communicate. And also, performing, where that comes from is knowing, thinking that you know what women want. And most of the time when I speak to my clients, it is the complete opposite of what women are really looking for. And that is why I want you to get very clear and truly get the right knowledge from a woman herself. I think that would help a little bit. But at the same time, also talk to people around you, people that are in relationships, healthy relationships. Don't talk to men and people that are hurt, that are wounded, that are talking crap about women, because those are the kind of people that are going to lead you down the road of being unhappy with them. They are unhappy and they're going to ask you to be unhappy with them. That is why your surroundings, the people that you hang around with, is so important. You have convinced yourself that you're the nice guy, but deep down, you're angry, you're tired, and you're shut down. And so women really feel your energy more than your words. And so until you reclaim your truth, you're going to keep attracting the same situations, the same patterns that don't really reflect what you're really looking for and your value, what you're really worth. Most men won't say this out loud, but they've never felt fully respected by a woman they actually wanted, unless they were working hard to earn it. And so I want you to ask yourself, when was the last time you felt seen and wanted without proving yourself first? This is the work that I do with men. There's no pickup, there's no performance, and so this is the real internal shift. I also created a free masterclass that breaks this down with clarity and strategy so you can start showing up differently. If this hits something real for you, the links are going to be below or somewhere on the screen. Definitely check it out, and I will see you guys in my next video.